Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to an all-new episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom. That's Jeff. And let me tell you something, brother. We're covering the Hulkster, which you know I'm excited about. I think you are too. The final WWE match in Hulk Hogan's career. And you've heard me say this before, but there's just so few guys, including Hulk Hogan. I mean, there's very few that end on like the perfect high note. Like we're probably going to get with Cena, and we got with Flair before he came back. And there's just very few that retire on their own terms in the perfect way. And when they do, like Goldberg, they don't like it. So there's very few perfect retirements, I guess, in all of sports, right? I mean, John Elway retired as a Super Bowl champion. That's about as good as it gets. My boy Jerome Bettis, who's from Detroit, I believe, retired in Detroit by winning a Super Bowl. So there's very few examples in sports and entertainment where you end on the perfect high note. And Hulk Hogan, I mean, you know, even if this would have been his last match ever, we didn't know. You know, you just don't. There is no like ending. I mean, can you imagine? I guess we could talk more about this during the match, but could you imagine a Hulk Hogan retirement tour like there was with John Cena? I mean, it would have been even bigger, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but I want to talk about Cena's end and Goldberg and. Well, there's a lot to talk about there. Any reason in particular you picked this, or was it just, hey, let's honor Hulk Hogan and cover him?
Of course, with his passing, this was one that it was coming up a whole lot, and I haven't seen it in forever. I have not gone back and watched it since, and so I am just kind of, excited for somber reasons to go back and revisit this one. Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm looking forward to covering it. Let's get right into the build.
Ho! It's time for the build.
SummerSlam 2006, Boston, Massachusetts, the TD Garden Arena, 16,000 in attendance. Have we covered anything else on this show?
Let me take a look here.
Think so, but maybe we have. Well, and the reason is I had it pulled up on my Peacock, but I think it's because I just went back and watched. I threw this match on as I was watching all the Hulk Hogan stuff.
Nope, we have not. This is the first time. This is the only match we have from this card on our list.
Okay, Carlito defeats Rob Conway in a dark match. We start off the actual pay-per-view with Chavo Guerrero defeating Rey Mysterio in 11 minutes. Big Show's going to retain his ECW World Championship against Sabu in 8 minutes in an Extreme Rules match. Then the match we're going to cover. Then we have Ric Flair defeating Mick Foley in an I Quit match in 13 minutes. Batista's going to defeat King Booker by DQ. Booker's going to keep his World Heavyweight Championship. DX, Shawn and Triple H defeat Shane and Vince McMahon in a 13-minute tag match. And then Edge is going to retain his WWE Championship against John Cena in 15 minutes. Not a terribly well-regarded card. The I Quit match got 3.5 stars. The Vince and Shane against DX match got 3.25 stars, and then 3 3/4 for the main event. So nothing, I mean, fun show for sure, but nothing that Meltzer loved. Speaking of Meltzer, how many 5-star matches does Will Ospreay have, Jeff?
I'm going to guess at least double digits. I will say 14.
You said 14, and guess what? The answer is 54, which is 54 more 5-star matches than Kurt Angle.
Yikes.
And I don't even know if Hogan ever has one, because I don't think Rock, the Rock WrestleMania match, the one that probably had the best chance of being 5 stars. I think he had that at like 3 stars, which is one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. So 54 for Will Ospreay, 0 for Kurt Angle, 0 for Hulk Hogan. I mean, Shawn Michaels probably has less than 5.
Yeah.
I mean, Angle Michaels at WrestleMania is one of the greatest matches in the history of professional wrestling. Not a 5-star match. All right. The build for this. I know there wasn't much. I kind of remember it. Go through this for us.
Yeah, so this is one, like I said, taking place SummerSlam 2006. It was really billed as Randy Orton, who at the time was the self-proclaimed legend killer, taking on the immortal Hulk Hogan. And so not for any championship of any kind, but really just the pride, the tension, like Orton's mission to destroy wrestling legends, which he had been doing. So, excuse me, we're August 2006 when this is taking place. But we'll go back a little bit here. That really, for, a year, he had been disrespecting and beating Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, Jake the Snake, Harley Race, all these really, high, great feuds and matches, and then really kind of refocusing in 2006 on this legend killer persona after a little bit of time with Evolution and then even a world heavyweight title run. And so really that was all he was about, was just dismantling wrestling's, legends. Hogan was a part-timer at this point. So 2006, he had returned in 2005, of course, to feud with Shawn Michaels, culminating at that SummerSlam 2005, where he did win that one. And so at the time, he was 53 years old. And so it just as they used him until the end, bringing him back for big shows, nostalgia boosts. I know that got a little weird at the end there, but his popularity was still super high no matter what kind of happened. So Hogan just working the part-time. Now the feud at this point, it was actually just a month prior to this. Orton actually went after Hogan's daughter, Brooke, who was part of the storyline. And so made creepy remarks to her, was being kind of flirty with her. He even staged a photo shoot with her, which pissed off Hogan. And so really baited Hogan into this match so that, as he said, he wanted to kill the legend of Hulkamania. So, and so he actually just before this on a Saturday Night Main Event, he RKO'd Hogan. And so it's not the idea that Hogan may not be able to compete. And so it was more than in ring. And I think part to protect Hogan and just kind of how old he was. A lot of mind games, Orton mocking Hogan's age, saying he was washed up. So this is really, kind of turns into the one-off at this point, which we didn't know it at the time, but that's what it is, just a one-off match between these guys of, like you said, there wasn't a ton of build. It was barely a month, but the kind of mind games, Brooke playing a part of this, and trying to beat trying to kill the legend of Hulk. Yep.
It was good. I mean, I thought it was good.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces, but that's okay. Yeah. And you got to take into it's the end of Hogan, whether, we didn't know it at the time, but that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And Brooke was hot at the time. She was a big name. You had the reality show. So yeah, it was, this was well done. And obviously the history with Orton's dad. So, all right, I'm pumped to cover this one. It's going to be a fun little 10-minute match we're going to cover. Jeff, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. 50-minute mark. SummerSlam 2006. God, 19 years ago. Makes you feel old. All right.
Crazy. Yep.
Are you ready?
Got to pull up.
It's time for the payoff.
Oh, it's time for the payoff.
See Hulkamania live. Now let's see if Hulk Hogan's veteran body can hold up with his with that great heart and beat the young man that has everything to gain here tonight.
All right, so we're acknowledging the fact that Hulk Hogan's old, Randy Orton's young. Jeff, one of the things to watch for is how's Hogan in the ring? Like, how does he look?
Mm-hmm.
Does he look believable? Because here's my impression in some of these late Hulk Hogan matches, like this one. I've always believed, like, it works. Yes, he's not Kurt Angle, okay? But with the right dance partner, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton, Kurt Angle, I think it's totally believable. And again, maybe I'm just such a mark, but this idea of, Hogan with the bad knees, dude, it's freaking Hulk Hogan. It still worked in this era. I mean, you could have had, if him and Vince had a better relationship and could just get along, I wish for the final few years of his career, we got Hulk Hogan 4 times a year, in that Babe Ruth role. I think he would have been great, but you got him at SummerSlam 2005 and then at SummerSlam 2006. So,
Right.
You mentioned the Legend Killer stuff, and you talk about a rocket ship. So the first real one was the Mick Foley, right? So he spits in Foley's face, and then they have this Backlash 2004 match. I forgot he beats HBK. Had some help from Flair, but beat Shawn Michaels. Orton pins The Rock clean at Backlash 2004. He has a hardcore match against Mick Foley that we've covered that was phenomenal. He beats Sergeant Slaughter. Mm-hmm. He attacks Harley Race. Tito Santana, Greg Valentine, Jimmy Snuka. I mean, Dusty Rhodes, Jake Roberts, Roddy Piper, Undertaker. Now didn't beat the Undertaker, but he did beat him later that year at SummerSlam, and then he beat him at a casket match later that year. So beats Dusty Rhodes in a match.
Not nothing.
Yeah, wrestles against Hulk Hogan. I mean, they couldn't have gone more all in on this Legend Killer gimmick.
Mm. Yeah, and it feels almost right, like, a big culmination of that being Hogan. Now, Orton is completely working over Hogan at this point. He's gotten in no offense, Hogan has, and really just kind of getting beat up at this point. So is the crowd booing? What do we got? What's the crowd reaction?
Right there, all over you. And let's not forget that Orton is always the RKO away from victory.
Yeah. God, even back then we were talking, RKOs.
Yeah, crazy. That has been lately some of the better moments when he just kind of pops up on camera behind whoever it may be. I know Drew being one of the more recent ones, just fantastic stuff. Always out of nowhere, but yeah, always good.
So we haven't really talked about Goldberg's retirement yet, and I know it's old news, but I mean, what did you think? I just. It was so odd to me. It was a little clunky being on television, right? So like you knew that it wasn't just going to go on forever because it's on streaming. So the idea that, hey, he's in the ring talking and all right, we got to go to Saturday Night Live or whatever was next, right? I mean, to me it was like, okay, yeah, it ended. And obviously if I want to see that speech, the whole thing will be on YouTube in 12 minutes. So it's not really a big deal. Like, I didn't think anything of it. I mean, I sat there and I was like, these guys had one of the better matches Goldberg's probably had in his entire career. He puts the young guy over. He's in the ring afterwards with his family. Okay, that worked. I mean, wasn't the greatest build in the world, but, I'll just give you a couple other thoughts. I'm like, but if that's not what you wanted, then you should have said what you wanted. So, I mean, to me, like, if Goldberg, he could have not come back. But if you wanted to come back, I'm thinking, okay, you're in Atlanta. It's sold out. You're on NBC. You're working against the top heel in the business right now. Oh, okay, who's champion? Pretty good way to end. I didn't see 48 hours later him going on a podcast saying, yeah, the whole thing sucked and I hated it and the slaps didn't hurt and I can't believe they, cut me off when I was speaking, even though, hey, dipshit, it's on NBC and it was 10 o'clock, so the show's over. I was just in disbelief, and it made me not like it because he didn't like it. What did you think?
Yeah, I think I make no secret of how I feel about Goldberg, but at the same time, I do want wrestlers to be able to go out on their own terms on some of these, and that is extremely rare. And I think as much as he, to get to that point where, like you said, he's just kind of shitting on it a little bit, it's just ridiculous. Okay, you weren't happy, okay, but you're the one that wanted to come back. You're the one that kind of laid this out. You could have had some veto power on this. You also could have said, no, this just isn't for me. I went out, but then to kind of go out how he did, it doesn't sit right. And again, I'm not a fan of him anyways. I'm glad he's gone at this point. Who knows if some Saudi show will bring him back for $2 million or something, but hopefully not. But
yeah, it was just odd. It's the whole thing's a work. So what do you want your farewell to be? Hey, I want it to be in Atlanta. Okay. Hey, I want it to be on the Saudi show because I can make more. Okay. Hey, I just, I really don't want to wrestle a long match. I'm pretty beat up. Is there someone I can just squash in a 1 minute match? Oh, sure. We have someone that we can, that probably would benefit from the rub and it wouldn't hurt them. And yeah, it would work out. Hey, it's really important to me that I can give a 3 to 5 minute speech at the end of the show. Can we carve out those 3 to 5 minutes? He said none of this. It's not like he said, well, here's what I wanted, and they changed it at the last minute or they changed it on the fly. If giving a speech afterwards was so important to you, then wouldn't you think, gosh, hey guys, as a heads up, I'd like the match to end at 5 minutes to the top of the hour. I'd love to bring my family in. I'd love to say a few words. Can I do that? Or if not, can we go off the air with me waving and then let me know when we're off air, and then I'm going to give the speech, and I'd love for you to post it on YouTube. What were you thinking? Maybe he's just mad at himself for not thinking about any of this ahead of time.
But then I wonder how many wrestlers do get the grace to say any of that to anybody.
I think Vince McMahon would have just said, to hell with you, right? Like he did with Kurt Angle. We're putting you against Baron Corbin in the middle of the card and too damn bad. Yep. Triple H, I think he'll work with people, but if you don't tell someone what you want, it's like complaining about your work situation, but then not telling, your boss, hey, I'd like for things to change around here. I have an idea. I don't know. All right, so let's check in on this.
Big right hands again.
Hogan throwing some punches here.
Dodged Orton off the top rope, and
So are you watching this thinking, oh gosh, Hulk Hogan, he's really beat up, or are you just like, yeah, he's the aging legend, and of course he's slow, and that's part of the match.
Yeah, and he is moving, there are some moments where he's moving a little bit slower, I think, but Orton, I think that's where they came out strong on this one, is beat the crap out of Hogan so that at least he can hide it a little bit better. And so, or at least they can use that as the excuse. And so, lining up for the RKO at this point,
by using the ropes.
But yeah, it's not bad. It's just Hogan does not getting a lot in.
There you go, match over. Uh-oh, foot on the rope. 2 count. Orton thinks he won. What did you think of the Cena heel turn? How would you summarize it, rank it? And I'll tell you where I'm at with it is, I think you had to try it because you had this full year. And if we did the aw shucks John Cena babyface all year, people could have shit on it. So
Yep.
I know it's easy to be like, oh, the heel turn wasn't good and it didn't work. I think it did work. I think it served a purpose, and I think it allows him to be a bigger baby face on the back end of the year than him just being Super Cena all year. Because I think by the end of the year, people would have hated it. What did you think?
I'm glad they did it. I don't think it I think they thought it could have lasted longer than it did. I think Cena's star power, whether it went a month too long or it went whatever it may have been, I feel like they tried it. It did kind of work out. Like now in retrospect, yes, I'm glad we've got the other Cena, the face Cena. Hogan with the boot there, yeah.
Place going nuts. I mean, they're absolutely going nuts.
Hogan with a big boot, and now, leg drop, a huge leg drop.
I mean, how many pops do you see like this?
Hulkamania.
Selfishly, I wish we would have gotten more of these. I mean, we got the Shawn match the year before. We got this, but man, I would have loved. How do you do these, and maybe give a final year? I mean, imagine if, hey, we're gonna build a Hulkamania retirement tour, 2006, 2007. It's gonna culminate at WrestleMania, and let's have you work with all the top stars. Let's get you there with Cena. Let's get you with Orton. Whoever else the top stars were at the time. That would have been great. But
Great
yeah,
stuff,
just to talking retirement tours. I think you had to do the heel Cena turn. I don't think you had 12 months of a babyface run without them turning on it. You're probably right that, hey, we wanted the heel turn to go a little bit better and last a little bit longer. But I mean, what were we talking? September, October? I mean, it probably wasn't going to last till the last possible second. So, I mean, you have to react
at
to
what
the
point
fans.
You got to pull. Yeah, you got to pull it at some point. And the fans, I think, like you said, the fans just weren't as into it in the end as maybe they wanted them to be. I think fans were just like, okay, we tried this, and it was an incredible moment. But, you got to factor in The Rock. Like, was there going to be more to this? But then The Rock kind of, whatever he did or didn't do, and Travis Scott and all that bullshit. But it just, but I'm glad we're getting what we're getting now.
I totally agree. And I think, when we look back on this final year, I think we're going to be at like an 8 out of 10, which to have a full year to retire with all that build, ESPN and Netflix and everything that he did for them this year. I think it helped Cody. I think that, I think we're going to end up at about an 8 out of 10, which Triple H's final match was on a house show, and he never got a chance to retire. Hulk Hogan was on a house show in a 6-man match and never got to properly retire. Ric Flair spoiled his retirement. Shawn Michaels came back, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like, Cena is going to go down as probably as good as it gets. So Hogan's still in the ring. He's doing his thing here. I mean,
Undefeated at SummerSlam.
Soaking it in,
I'll just say it one more time. It would have been a lot of fun if he could have had a little bit different of an ending with like a final year. So, all right. Well, and one other thing I'll just say is, this era and in previous eras were so much different. Like part-timers just really weren't a thing. And part of that was probably Vince being old school, but part of it was just, we had house shows, and now you can have these attractions and you can do all this stuff. So, all right, let's get to the aftermath.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
What'd you think?
It was what I would have expected. Like, it was really good. Like, they did a good job of protecting Hogan. Like, now knowing what we know, like, I thought it was just really good. Like, it really was. Enjoyed it quite a bit, more than I expected.
And you can do that. Sometimes the easy, predictable thing works. I mean,
Yep.
this is greatest hits, right? Greatest hits have a spot on this card. Did you want a main event with it? Probably not. But putting this, second or third match on the card, greatest hits.
In the middle of the card, I want to say.
All day.
Yeah. Yeah, right in the middle. Made it worth it. Cool. Okay. So, of course, for Hogan, we know that this was his last WWE match. All kinds of knee issues, back issues, just old. His relationship with WWE soured as well after this. And so, there was, as always, rumors, is he going to come back? WrestleMania 23, he did not. And so this was 2006, but his next major wrestling appearance would actually be in TNA and Impact in 2009. And so kind of an area I do kind of want to go back and check out a little bit, because there's some meat there. There's some stuff that we have never talked about or covered. So I think it'll be just very interesting to kind of check that out. So Orton on the flip side, like, this didn't hurt him at all. Like, he was still, the legend killer. I think things worked out just fine for him. And so, but it was kind of reading a few things.
And I bet you people at the time thought, oh, this is going to kill him. This is so bad. Why is, the young guy not going over? It didn't hurt him. It's a rub, man. He RKO'd Hogan on a car. He was insinuating that he was sleeping with his daughter. I mean, he came out a bigger heel, a bigger star than he went in. Nobody gives a shit about wins and losses. I mean, yeah, you can squash someone and kill him, but a good 10-minute match where he almost won and he had all the heat going into the show, and he probably cut a promo the next night on Raw, getting his heat back. It was perfect.
Exactly. Yep. And so this was one where could have been an opportunity to elevate him, but obviously just didn't do that. And so that's fine. But continue the heel run. And then eventually we had the rated RKO, and they feuded with DX. And so him and Edge. And then by the end of this year, he was back in the world title scene, and eventually, obviously, we know, became champ and all kinds of other good stuff. And he's the Randy Orton we know now. So, yeah. So on this one, like I said, long term, it was Hogan's kind of send off. Other than Hall of Fame, like, just didn't make a whole lot of appearances after this. Orton on the flip side, this only solidified the legend killer gimmick, and having that. And so he eventually would come back to that actually in 2020 with Edge, Big Show, and others. But we'll talk about that a different day, or in 10 years or whatever it is, when we can revisit that one. So Hogan not ranked in 2006, but Orton ranked 30th on the PWI. So this was on both lists. It was the show overall was very 30%, 30%, 30%, thumbs up, down, middle. It was the third best match, but it was also the third worst match. So take that for what you want. Just kind of really weird. Even says, to the live crowd, the biggest thing on the show was Hogan, and he treated Orton like nothing more than a stooge for his act as opposed to a serious opponent, but it worked out well as anything on the show. It led to the most amusing stuff on the show.
Okay, so he gets the biggest pop of the night. Everyone's thrilled, and you're saying he stooged him or made him look bad?
Yeah, he's more than a stooge for his act as opposed to a serious opponent. Yep.
Do you think that?
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
Meltzer doing what he does. Yep. Yeah, wow. Just crazy. Let's see. Hogan got his foot on the ropes. Hogan made the usual comeback with the 3 punches, the foot in the face, and the leg drop. He then played to the crowd for a long time after the leg drop before getting the pin. 2.25 stars. So we're at 2.25 from our best friend, Dave Meltzer. What are you thinking?
Dude, I view this so much differently. I have this at a 7.5. The build was very good. It's Hogan getting a massive pop against the son of the guy that he headlined the first ever WrestleMania with and changed the business.
Yep.
The match was good. It was 10 minutes, not 20 minutes. They told a great story. This was very good. I mean, I almost have it higher. I mean, it was just awesome. Like oh, Tom, you're a Hulk Hogan mark. Well, so were 20,000 people that were there because they went crazy for it. It was the biggest pop of the night. He got a bigger pop than John Cena got in the main event. I don't know what to tell you. Why are we here? Are we here for every match to be 25 minutes long and 5 stars? Or are we here to have a good time and cheer and go nuts for, our favorite stars? People loved it. It was fantastic. What do you think?
Yeah, I got this one at a 7. I'm right there with you. I feel like it's one of those where, like, I don't know, what else did you expect? Like, okay, Orton could have gone over, but also, like, it's fine that he didn't. Like, it was still really enjoyable for what it was. You got to, you got to see Hogan, do it as we've always seen it. And so, you don't have to like that fact, but also, like, it was still really good. And so, yeah, I'm right there with you at a 7 on this one. It was enjoyable. It really was.
What else are you supposed to do? Do you want to kill the crowd? I mean, I'm still watching it. There's, Hulkamania shirts all over. People had signs. They went crazy. What are you supposed to do? Kill the town? It's like Tony Khan right now. He's ending every show with, like, heels beating down baby faces. I mean, people spend $100, $500, whatever it is, dollars for these tickets. I understand heels have to win sometime, but shit, give me something to cheer about. I don't want to go to, my favorite football team and see them get blown out. That's not enjoyable.
Right.
All right.
Good. Okay.
What do you got for us next
Send them home happy. Yeah. What do we got next week? We're sticking with Saturday Night Main Event. It's just kind of been the theme lately here, but we're going all the way to 31. But it's only taking place, though, in 1992. So, and we are covering your boy, Shawn Michaels, taking on the British Bulldog. And so, for the Intercontinental Championship. So should be a very interesting one for sure.
Cool. Well, this was fun. Appreciate everyone listening. We'll see you next week on an all new episode of The Payoff.